Joe Rogan. I made Joe Rogan come back to Twitter, and he responded to my tweet about Katt Williams.
Go shit.
This was crazy. I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan. I've always been a Joe Rogan fan, for the longest now. Ever since I watched the David Goggins interview, I've been stuck and hooked on Joe Rogan. Well, I've been a fan of him before that, but the podcast specifically started then. But Katt Williams said that Joe Rogan never has had him on his podcast because that he doesn't want him there because Katt Williams is too vulgar. He swears too much. He's too real. And Joe Rogan rather push and promote 6 comedians that are not even funny.
I can see why you wouldn't want Katt Williams on your podcast.
But aside from that, if you're a Joe Rogan fan, you know who he's talking about, technically, these 6 comedians.
Who is it? Because
he tends to have, there's a Joe Rogan umbrella of comedians that are under him that have had success because of him, and they give it up to him like he's their dad. Because Joe Rogan basically has a label in a podcast network without having a label in a podcast network. Because he doesn't want to contract with these people, but in my opinion, he should have done it from the beginning. Because a lot of these people just have the success basically because of the cosign that he's given them, but they're not genuinely funny.
Who is it?
It's arguable though, but in my opinion, they're not. One of them is Brennan Schaub.
Okay.
Former UFC fighter turned podcaster, comedian. Not really that funny. Ari Shaffir.
I hate that.
He was canceled because of the Kobe Bryant tweet years ago. Not really that funny. And then it turns into a limbo. Some people say Tom Segura. I think Tom Segura is funny though. Bert Kreischer. Bert Kreischer's all right to me. I saw him live. You can argue he's not really that funny. I think he's an amazing person. I think he's bigger as a personality than his actual comedy content is. Bert is just a breath of fresh air when it comes to his personality. He's amazing. Then he's, what do you say, 6? I would say maybe Brian Callen. But Brian Callen has a lot of great jokes and has done a lot of dope movie shows. But Brian Callen's up there. And you could say one last person who's close to Joe Rogan in the Joe Rogan circle. In the recent years, I would say Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis has been really close to Joe Rogan. So you can say those people. There's people that are always around Joe Rogan and always on the podcast, and that he goes on their podcast. He has them do stand-up shows with him. He opens for, etc.
Nah, he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. So, but Shane Gillis, I think, is actually a hilarious guy. But the sub was perfect because if you know Joe Rogan, you know what he's talking about. These same white comedians that are always on Joe Rogan's podcast. Let's play the sub. It was a quick one, but I made sure to post it because I knew right away that this was important to the comedy community. Here we have it right here.
And that's how it was for blue comedy. Mm-hmm. If you were a comedian that cussed, you were ridiculed by the mainstream comedy geist. That would be like me being on Joe Rogan. Joe don't want me on there. I need to be on Shannon. Joe got 6 comedians that never been funny. He want to push out. But that's really how it is.
But you can also see like he's joking.
Yeah.
Like he's laughing, he's joking, he's being playful. He probably has some respect for Joe. But say it again?
He made a comment. Like he made a point because he bigged up Shannon too.
Yeah.
He didn't have to say, oh,
I gotta go on Shannon. I gotta come on Shannon.
Exactly. Because he's not saying it like, damn, I gotta come on Shannon instead of Joe. He's saying it like, Shannon gives me a space to not be white.
Yes. To be myself.
Exactly.
Yes.
Joe doesn't.
Yes.
It's not a knock on Joe. You're white.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the shit niggas need to understand. At some point we gotta be honest. These white niggas are just white.
Yeah, it's
They're
different
gonna
cultures.
play the game, bro.
And I also think like when it comes to the best comedians of all time, it always for me ends up being black people, black comedians.
Of course.
So that's why I really, really wish that the Joe Rogan tree extended more into like the black comedic world. The only people that it touches is like Dave Chappelle. Him and Dave Chappelle are really close. Joe Rogan tends to like be the opener at all Dave Chappelle's like concerts. Either the opener or the double headliner is Joe Rogan, Dave Chappelle. They've been on tour multiple times. Joe Rogan has responded to my tweet, and he responded to Katt Williams, and he invited Katt Williams on his podcast. Yeah, that's right. Joe Rogan responded to my tweet. That was a crazy moment. And Joe Rogan said, I love Katt. He's one of my favorite comedians, and I love to have him on. We talk about him all the time. If he's down, I'll make it happen, right? He wasn't lying when he says this. There's proof of Joe Rogan talking about Katt Williams literally weeks before this, coincidentally, on the podcast. I'm going to try to pull it up right now. But, yeah, because a lot of people, oh, Joe Rogan be capping, etc. He was not capping. Look at it right here. December 5th, he was talking literally about Katt Williams going at Wanda Smith with one of the arguable 6 comedians. Not really. Starvos, really, really funny guy. He's white. Here we have him talking to Joe Rogan about Katt Williams in the famous roast that he had with Wanda Smith on the radio in Atlanta.
If you want to have Wanda's jewelry, please go to Citgo. Quick Trip at any point. If you buy 2 packs of Newport 100, they will give you everything Wanda has on right now for $7.99, and it comes with a 3-car wash. Won't you come on down?
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
He's destroying this bitch. She has no idea what she's up against. On her own show. This nigga's crazy.
Oh my God. You already used that one. Don't repeat your jokes, Chris.
Oh my God!
Just
Oh my God!
comes with a pack of Newport. You get
How
everything
does a
she has on for
How does she
$7.99.
recover from that? How do you recover from that?
I think you have to quit.
When you go back to work tomorrow, and everybody's like, "How you feeling?"
Dude, that follows you for a year.
Especially if she reads the comments, and you know she reads the comments.
Dude, that video is just will live on. That's what people will know her from.
how about
getting
you saying he has
destroyed.
old clothes on?
He looks
Like,
awesome.
first of all, you know he's rich. Katt Williams is rich. Well, he's been doing arenas for
Yeah, she's
decades.
the 4th mic on a fucking radio show. Come on, lady.
Like, what is that? You got old clothes on.
It's a woman completely out of her depth who doesn't, who didn't appreciate that everybody was, rightfully like respecting Katt as a fucking legend, and she probably just didn't like it.
She
And
thought she was gonna get over on him.
how? How do you think that?
People are delusional.
Don't-
What?
I'm looking.
What?
This story went crazy.
Oh no, did it?
Apparently, at a show of his in Atlanta, her husband pointed a gun at him
Yeah, he tried to kill Katt Williams.
because of his ridicule of her.
He talked about this during the
Imagine
Shannon
getting
Sharp
got
podcast.
So well.
Oh.
Imagine getting roasted
fucking
so
with
bad your
Rogan,
husband
viral.
points a gun at the guy.
Following the interview and the alleged altercation between Williams and Sellers, Smith addressed both on air. She said that at the Comedy Theater, Williams saw her and approached her and said, "I told you, fucking with me will make you go viral." This led to Sellers chasing Williams into a Food Depot supermarket. Because of legal reasons, Smith couldn't talk further about the altercation, but she did discuss feeling attacked during her interview with Williams. Oh,
yeah,
the victim card.
incredible.
Yo.
Good luck playing that card with that video.
Oh my Only
I
Katt
felt like as he
Williams.
started to talk in the beginning, he had an agenda to it. When he started commenting, not a jokester.
Hell, lady.
Oh
That's
my
like, yeah.
God.
I put some smoked salmon up my ass and waved it in front of a bear's face, and it attacked me, and now I'm sad.
Worse, you pimp slapped the bear.
It's insane.
I mean,
dude.
she went after him 100%.
So here we have him literally shouting out, but maybe even Katt Williams might have saw this, because like I said, I think it was like a joke, because he was laughing especially. It was clearly a joke. The whole interview probably was a whole joke for him. Who knows? But he might have saw this and still felt that way, because he's like, hey, this guy's laughing and talking about me, but he never had me on. If you're gonna talk about me, Joe, have me on. You're saying that I'm rich, you respect me, I do solo shows. I'm a comedian, have me on. So I think that's why Joe made it sure to be like, hey, actually, I would have him on, And the fact that he made Joe Rogan respond, well, you can argue me as well. I definitely made Joe Rogan respond. But I think what happened was people
You made
probably
him
told
respond.
Joe, like, hey, he talked about you too?
Yeah.
He mentioned you
They
too.
sent
What?
him they saying that your tweet was
Yeah.
sent to him.
Yeah, and they were like, yo, look at it on Twitter, bro. Go look it up on
Because I
Twitter.
didn't see anybody else talking about it till you posted.
Nobody. I made sure to talk about it because I'm like, this is definitely going to get some traction. People are going to like this. But I did not expect Joe to respond. So shout out to Joe Rogan. Shout out to Katt Williams. Now let's make it happen for real.
That'd be insane.
That would be insane. Now, if Joe, I think that would be one of the biggest battles that Joe has ever faced when it comes to podcasting. Because an unfiltered Katt Williams on his program, if he starts talking to him about Joe saying the N-word, all this stuff, oh my God, bro, that's gonna be ether. That's just gonna be insane, bro.
That's the issue.
So, but I'm ready for that, and I think Joe should have other black comedians on this year. He's had Dave Chappelle. He's had I think he might have had Deion Cole. He's had a bunch, but
You better get Chris Tucker on there. Ask him about that fucking Epstein Island shit. I didn't know that. That's disgusting.
yeah, he was on the list.
That's disgusting.
They gon' love me for my ambition.